Hey everybody, welcome back to the Singing Green Thumb. I've had a lot of comments, questions about root cellar and food storage. So today I'm going to talk about my root cellar, which right now just looks like a board over top of the ground, and the toys indicate here very clearly that my child likes to play in the sand around here. The sand is here purposefully. We actually use it in the process of storing our vegetables. I will show some pictures a little later on in this video, because I don't have video of it, of when we constructed, or I constructed this. It's super easy. It's literally just a hole in the ground. So the important thing about root cellars, if you're doing the hole in the ground, is having two lids. This one is just placed on top, and it is wider than the span of the root cellar. This is to make sure that the water and the snow doesn't go into the root cellar. And you need the second lid also to add a buffer of air in between the outside world and the inside of the root cellar. So when I lift this up, I just flop it back. Oh, and the second lid is down here. I forgot I took it off. So the second lid sits inside the inner lid. I don't know if you can see the inside lid, the inside lip right here. And then there's about 4 to 6 inches of just dead air space, and that actually helps in the insulating process. So you'll note that this is quite dirty right now. So every fall, spring, we're getting into late summer, so I'm starting to get things ready. You have to clean it out, so it doesn't take that much. It's extremely typical that ants, sometimes mice, will make their way into your root cellar throughout the summer. We do not put toxins or poisons at all. We just sweep them up and clean it up. And if there's a big problem, we'll leave the lid open so that the ants and the mice are detoured and go find somewhere else to live. So as you can see, this spring we had quite a few ants in here, like quite a big nest of ants. Then one year we had a couple snakes. But, okay. All right, so I'm just gonna finish shoveling this out and then I'll show you the next step. You can pause it. Here's the dugout hole, and we're starting to layer in the boxes one at a time. Here we got the boxes in. Next up is the corner pieces and the insulation. And after the insulation's in, the backfilling. Then we cut the stuff off and put the bib on and the outside lip to hold the lid in place. And here is the completed project without the lids. Here is after it's dug out in the winter time so we can get the vegetables. Here's the second lid. You can see the air buffer space. Here's what it looks like inside with all the vegetables in the middle of winter. And here's what the potatoes look like when they come out of the ground. All right, so I've swept it out. As you can see, I've got some rocks here at the bottom. Nothing specific, just any kind of rocks. And that's if the water goes in, which will happen in the spring, it offers drainage. So after I've swept it out, I like to spray it down because sometimes from the moisture, you will get like a mildew or a mold growing on the sides. So you can use if you're comfortable using bleach, I don't use bleach, but a bleach in a water and just kind of spray it down. I actually use something called Soluguard from the Melaleuca. Any kind of antibacterial anything, or just soap and water would work too. But this really holds back, and the bleach really holds back the moisture. So after I'm done sweeping it, I just give it a really good spray down all over the place because I'm lazy. Oh, sorry, Mr. Cricket. You're not going to want that. There you go. Like a pretty good spray down. And then that's going to help just keep it a little bit clean, freshen it up for the year because it is going to be housing a lot of vegetables in here. And that's probably your next question. How many vegetables? So what we do, there we go. That's all you need to do. If you feel like scrubbing it down, you can. That's probably a better idea, but we don't. So this could actually hold, we put our potatoes, beets and carrots in buckets of dirt. So the sand here, we actually built this specifically in sand for a couple of reasons, and one of the reasons is for the food storage. We don't have to get sand from anywhere, we just take it from what's around us. So I put a layer of sand in a big 5-gallon bucket, put some potatoes. Make sure the potatoes are not touching each other, because if one rots, they're all going to rot. Then put a layer of sand on, put another layer of potatoes, another layer of sand. It's kind of like playing Tetris, which I love. Until the bucket is full, put it in, and then you can put 2 layers. Like the buckets can go up to here, and I don't know if you can see with the depth perception or not, but 2 5-gallon pails can get stacked over top and 3 wide. So I usually put 6 big pails of potatoes on this side, 3 to 4 things of carrots over here, a couple things of beets over here, and then I have smaller square buckets that the remainder of the root vegetables will go in there, and I'll just stack them. And they are stacked up to here, and this thing is full, and it will keep your vegetables completely fine until the following summer if need be, if you'd believe that. So we're pulling up potatoes in July, and they're perfectly fine. Carrots as well. Beets will only last till about maybe March, and then they start to lose their flavor and they taste pretty bland, to be honest. But carrots and potatoes hold their flavor very well, and their crispness. And actually, a root cellar potato after January is better than a regular potato out of the garden, if you'd believe that, because the starches start to break down into sugars, and they are extremely sweet. Well, not so sweet that it's like dessert. I'm not that kind of sweet, but it does sweeten them up, and they're quite delicious. So the other reason why we like to put it in sand is, like, I built this thing myself, and you can put it in clay, you can put it in other types of soil, but sand is very drainy. So if you're lucky like us and happen to have a sandy area, or if you're in a position that you can dig out a place and put some sand in or gravel around, that will help mitigate water issues, unless you're like my friends from Thunder Bay who live in a water table where it doesn't matter what you put up there, you're going to get water in your root cellar. We're lucky that the water table is quite low, and we're in the sand here, so it can offer drainage. So I will show you some pictures as well, but and insert them into the video. But what I did here is just dug a massive hole in the sand, which took just a couple of days of digging, and then I took some repurposed lumber and made little squares and dropped them in one at a time. And then put little corner pieces in just to kind of hold it in. In behind, I actually had some repurposed, you know how like when you buy like a new TV or something, you get all that styrofoam? So all the flatter pieces I kind of collected, and I put them in behind, and I was pretty lucky that we had a few really large sheets, so I was able to kind of keep it consistent. And in addition to that, at this level here, I actually have a bib of styrofoam going around the entire root cellar. That's not necessary. Like Harriet has a root cellar too and didn't use any styrofoam at all. However, because we're opening our root cellar throughout the winter, you want to make sure that the frost level can't go down. So as cold air drops in, that frost level is going to go down here too, but the styrofoam keeps it from going down, which then protects your vegetables from freezing. When you are opening your root cellar, make sure it's not on a super cold day. You're totally fine to open it in January. However, if it's a -40 January, cold air sinks, right? We all know that. So the cold air is going to come in here, and the next time you pull up your vegetables, they're likely to be frozen. And I did that one year and I lost all of my root vegetables. So that was a hard learning curve for me. So now I know, like, if it's like -15 Celsius, just because I know I have a few Americans watching these as well. I'm not sure what that equates to in Fahrenheit, but it's below freezing for sure. So about -15 Celsius is as cold as I'll open it. And I usually open it in the middle of the day when the sun is warm or high. What we do is we just shovel off all the snow, come in, grab the buckets we need, immediately cover it back up. We try to keep the root cellar only open for a few minutes at the time because it gets cold fast. Put the first lid on, put the second lid on, and then cover it with 6 to 8 inches of snow again, and then just leave it there until the next time. One big bucket for us will last us about a month, so we actually only have to break into the root cellar 2, maybe 3 times throughout the winter. So we just time our opening in that way. So anyway, that's the root cellar. Is there anything else I need to talk about? I don't think so, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yes, okay, so then one more thing. As we're emptying our buckets, we just leave the sand here, and then we just keep reusing the same sand over and over again. If I haven't had any diseases or anything that's transferred. When I'm putting my vegetables in, I make sure that the vegetables are all in really good shape and that there's zero sign of disease in it, because once it's in the dirt, then I would actually have to excavate all the dirt and bring in something different. And my neighbor uses moss instead of dirt, but I find that the potatoes and vegetables kind of pick up that earthy moss taste, which isn't my favorite, but if you like that earthy taste, then moss is much easier to lift in and out, but it does give your vegetables a different taste. Anyway, that's Root Cellar 101. Thank you for following.